a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
Hey kiddos, what's up? Welcome everybody. It's your boys again here at The Way Shit Works. Now I don't know why I feel like I can't say that.
The Way Shit Works Now. With the best intro. The best intro of any show, isn't it?
Yes, and shout out and power to the people. Okay, because I'm your boy Lucas Abraham here at the RCE Studios, and you are.
I'm Bobby from the Bronx.
Can I say something? There was something that happened today on my walk over here, and I don't know if I should just start with that.
You know what? Let's just go with it, because every single time we plan something, 5,000 new atrocities from the White House happen. So what's the point?
And you already know we're going to get to that. I want everybody to stay for the next hour if you're watching us on YouTube or here in Catalonia, Barcelona, España. But because I'll be doing something great for here that we're prepping in the city. Thank you for letting me even say that. But
of course.
This weird thing happened, and I don't get it, because there's this neighbor that I have, because we're both dog owners, so we want to talk to our dog owners right now, our baby owners.
Yep.
And not owners, we're their fathers and mothers, that's what we are.
I think so, yeah. I think that's better.
And they're babies, we're all a family. But there's this one guy, this older, he's not even older, I mean, he's maybe 60s, and he has this beautiful German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd loves me and my dog. Yeah. And every time he's with other people in the neighborhood, he's very responsive to them. But when he sees me, he's like, looks away.
Oh, no.
And it's been for 4 years, man.
Is there beef?
I want to throw down some straps and shit. What is going on with this?
Because that's a big one. If the dogs don't get along, then I completely understand.
The dogs get along. The dogs are fine.
Because my dog is a maniac asshole. Excuse my language.
Okay, well, Little Cheeks has his thing, doesn't he? Yeah. As he revealed the other day. Oh, yeah. But I don't get it. Okay. I don't get that stuff. That kind of inability to be amiable to your neighbor of many years when both of you are dad dogs is, I think, patetico. But is that just me? I mean, how do you respond? I feel like, the other day I got this close to coming up to the mother effer and saying something. I said, I know you got a problem? Is there... De hecho algo contigo, de hecho algo, no sé.
Well, I have too much New York in me. So, I am very, very polite in the streets to all of my neighbors.
Okay.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Todo bien? And then I never get to know them ever. So, I'm very nice, but that's very New York City. And you know that very well. Brooklyn, Lower East Side, I'm the Bronx, the Upper West Side.
Let's tell people that, because there is a huge misunderstanding, and especially someone who comes from a country called Texas, that...
Yeah, that too.
New Yorkers are assholes. That everybody's an asshole. Everybody's going and ready to F you up.
Polite, but not nice.
This is what I was just going to say.
Kind, but not nice. You'll see a lady struggling on the subway with her carriage, pick up one side of it, walk all the way up the stairs without ever looking at her, put it back down, and then go about your day.
I would actually say ciao, but okay. Yes,
kind,
exactly.
But not nice. Kind, but not nice.
Exactly.
So I have to get a little more friendly, because everyone here is super friendly that I've ran into. I haven't had any issues in that kind of regard, and, I think I should get myself out there more.
Well, I kind of like that, actually. I was going to say that, God, did I send some of the similar stuff from the other day? No, sorry, I'm on the wrong. Sorry, children. I'm just thinking out loud. A stream of consciousness thinking. I actually think that we live in Catalonia, Spain, in Barcelona specifically.
Love it.
And in a very hidden part of the city, both of us do, which is very nice, actually.
Where the hobblies roam.
Exactly. The hobblies, for everybody who doesn't know Spanish, are the wild boar that just come down from the mountain that we live at the base of and just say, hey, my dog thinks they're her friends.
Still less dangerous than the Bronx for me.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Ran into him about 12 times on late night walks, actually.
It is the only place I've ever lived, though, where people greet each other saying, bye-bye.
Yeah.
When you see someone on the street here,
sure,
you say adeu, which is Catalan for bye. It's like adieu, and it's just funny. Not
Yeah.
we say hello. You say hello. I say goodbye. Isn't that a Beatles song? Okay.
Sure.
I'm trying to like tackle my self-awareness. I'm not going to speak like that. Don't worry. Imagine if I did. But we are the way it works now is your expat go-to for laying things a little bit at a layman's level in reference to the political spectrum in which the world balances on right now. Unfortunately, there is a lot of power that the United States of America seems to wield, and it is not for the good very often, but
Right
really...
now, it's basically exclusively bad. That's our specialty. My specialty specifically is I could write a dissertation on the Trump administration. I follow them like a hawk because I want to delay, distract, divide, throw sand in the gears.
I mean, do we want to divide? I don't mind delay and distract because that's what they do, especially with the court cases and things of that nature. But I want to see more unification.
Well, I want to divide them. So, like, what we're seeing at these town halls, which has been incredible, and I know we're going to get into that.
Oh, yeah, baby.
But what we're seeing now is a lot of people who are horrified by this ridiculous, first of all, the radical austerity mixed with the chaotic negligence that's coming out of the Trump-Musk administration has been such a disaster.
It's ridiculous.
Every single policy initiative of this administration has been a disaster. Every single one. Take a look. The DEI, anti-DEI campaign cut Jackie Robinson out of the Pentagon website, cut women of color out of the Arlington National Cemetery website. Doge has been a disaster. The tariffs are a disaster.
We're going to get into that specifically in the third act because it's all a sham is the thing.
And we have to talk about it. We are in information warfare times coming straight from the White House. If you look at their social media pages, it's propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. And his political party is regurgitating and repeating in unison ridiculous lies and propaganda. Why we're here is to bust the myths and to battle the propaganda.
I think we're also safe, man. Yo, bro. They're also saying that here in Spain, by the way. Everybody says, bra, bra. It sounds a little bit like bra. It's kind of annoying.
Haven't heard that. Okay.
Oh, child. It is full on.
I got to be friendly with my neighbors. And then
I'm going to say, don't say, hey, brah, please, because I will kill the next motherfucker who says that. I won't. Don't worry. But this week kind of felt like that because I can definitely say, and I want to get into that, that there is an element of this week. Okay, firstly, here in Spain, spring is trying to spring.
Yeah.
And then it gets into winter, then it's summer, and then it's spring, and then it's winter again. But it rained 6 of the last 8 days. And
we're not that far away from an old man with a boat full of animals pulling up on the beach.
I'm 39, love. I don't know what you're saying. We are your forever 39 guys. But I think we're safe because we're expats. I'm going to say that. There's a lot of stuff that we're permitted to say within the European framework through our broadcasting, where we broadcast from, that kind of does isolate. And we're just a burgeoning thing. I mean, we're on our 3rd or 4th show. You know, we're just getting started.
Right.
But there is an attack on all types of media right now, the lamestream, the mainstream, and the independent stream media.
Directly from the White House, absolutely.
And it's scary AF. And one of the things that I certainly dealt with specifically because I do suffer a lot. I suffer a lot from seasonal affective disorder, and I got way into my sadness. Now, if everybody's feeling it a little bit like my brother Liam is in the studio right now, he's feeling the energy because I was just saying there was a huge shift with the lunar eclipse that happened last week. And I don't know if anybody saw it, if anybody felt it.
Consider me uninformed.
Wow. And it was also the blood moon, which if you looked up at the sky in certain parts, you couldn't really see it in Catalonia because of the angle from which we are located. But I'm going to judge for wind resistance. But there was this element of heaviness that I'm sure a lot of people have felt. Then we got these terrible storms. Now, I have a baby that I had a little dream about her the other day.
Oh, no. What, like good or bad?
It was a bad dream.
Oh,
and
what a
the
nightmare.
vet told me that she had the big C. I don't even like to say
Oh,
the
God.
word.
No. Yeah, we can ignore it. You can just pretend that's not
And then another doctor came in and said that again, but that there was treatment.
Oh, God. These are your dreams.
Child.
Oh.
So then, 3 days later, in the middle of the first rainstorm, I found something on a little lumpy thingy on her vulva.
Oh, God.
I can't even forget. I can't even.
I think
can't
actually,
even.
yeah, we had this conversation. We did the photo shoot, and you were telling me, and now it's just coming back to me. What a nightmare! I'm so sorry about that. I mean, like, I worry all the time about my dog, and I'm sure you do too.
And you know what? And that's one of the things I want to talk about as we get into the first act is not the way that we focus on worry, because we have been raised, you and I, and well, we both are survivors of some very big family drama, and him way more than me even, and mine is some shit.
Yours are going to write a Broadway play about. Mine is just common Irish family nonsense. But yeah, it informs our perspectives, I think. It makes us a little bit interesting that we can...
I love that you're Irish. My family, Italian side of my family married into Irish. You know those Catholics. Yeah, but
I know it well. I'm a Catholic myself.
Okay. The layout of this week, really, I want to tackle some of the reality of this fact that we come from a very dark, pre-planned communal scheme. And when we have these, and we did touch about a bit, when we launched on our first show, we touched a little bit about this.
Oh, yeah.
In reference to some of the reality and of the craziness that we deal with. But one of the things that you said on that first show, 2 shows ago, was they're weak minds. They prey on weak minds.
Cult tactics,
because when you can actually believe in the credibility that a virgin young teenager, probably even pre-adolescent, the guesstimation that Mary was between 12 and 14.
Right.
The Virgin Mary. And that she was virginally, impregnated by an angel to bear the Christ child. When you can believe that and spread that type of mentality to billions of minds, you're already dealing with weak amendulas or whatever the hell the stuff that's in our brain.
People more susceptible to potentially charlatanism, potentially cult tactics that are being used by the religious right in the United States to this day and being implemented by the government.
Exactly.
Which is
but
insane.
That's the scary thing. Before, at least for a plurality or some portion of the 250 years, we have not had that implemented so much by the government. Now, I grew up in an incredibly Judeo-Christian conservative, far-right Republican household. Yes. Okay, it was like fun, you guys. It was like fun. I was one of those little bitches who was 6 years old at, anti-abortion rallies and stuff like that. Only once, I'd like to say. But I also went to this anti-gay one, and
That's what turned you.
I said, And one of the things that I believe that we're really dealing with is a sick system of the United States of America. I want to say some statistics that everyone's going to love. It's going to make you feel all woosy-goosey and a little wet down there.
Go for it.
And over 45% of the world's drugs are consumed in that country. Now, that country makes up about 4.7, 4.8% of the world's population. That's it. Not even 5%. Okay. And if you have 5% of the world's population, not even, consuming nearly half of the world's drugs, with half of the world's arms and weapons, you have everything ready for some TNT explosions going off over there.
Oh, the guns alone.
The guns alone. Like, here's another case in point. For every 10 people in the United States, there are 12 guns.
Is it that little?
That's what. Is it that little? More. It might be close to 13, but there's about 12, maybe 12 plus guns for each 10 people. My family is a family of about, there's a good 7, 8, 9 of us. And nobody has a gun. So that means some motherfucker down the street has 50, 60, 70 in a case, hopefully locked up.
So let me ask, even when you grew up in Texas, they were not super into the guns?
My parents were really big by live by the sword, die by the sword.
Oh, that kind of stuff. That is very credible, yes.
And so they were, we're surrounded by the protection of the covenant of the,
So they want to accidentally shoot you coming in late from hanging out with your friends.
My mom also had Jew blood, so Jewish blood. So there's a lot of covenant things going on there. Okay. But when you're dealing also with that kind of mentality that's bred over hundreds of years, we're also dealing with that mentality of European manifest destiny, where I believe there's a pathological illness behind that to
entitlement
of this entitlement thing, which if everybody knows, if you don't know, well, now you know. To quote my boy Dre, Dre, what the hell? Yes, Dre, it is Dre. No, it's not Dre. Fuck the hell, it's Papa. It's Big Papa. It's Big Papa. Excuse me, from down the street.
Both of us are from New York City. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, what the hell? Excuse me. The power of Christ compels. The power of Christ compels. Did you see what she did? I'm just kidding. But the energy of the killings and the stolen lands, the manifest destiny, that stuff is very pathologically psychotic. psychotic. If
ingrained in
anybody
American
goes into
culture.
someone's home
US
and
culture.
says, "This is mine, and I'm going to kill you for it," and this is, we call them, well, now they're labeled as antisocial disordered, but that is just the moniker that we use now in the DSM-5 for psychos, for psychopaths.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a destiny to steal other people's land. That's for sure. That's
But
ridiculous.
this entitlement goes back to this narcissistic mentality, this communal narcissism that we talked about in the first
I
show.
love bringing it up as often as possible because it's 100% true.
And this idealism, when you have this Christian idealism, it has created a complete sign of mental imbalance, Christian conservatism and its modern precepts via, I want to go back into the 70s and 80s right now, because there was a guy named the two JJs, Jerry Falwell and James Mother Effin Dobson.
Right.
Okay, we're going to focus on the family with Dobson and Liberty University and all that crap with Jerry Falwell and all of that bisexual drama with his son and his wife. Look it up, bitches.
Honestly, yeah, this moral majority crap, this whole the church, it should be a Christian America should be a Christian theocracy as opposed to a free nation, is running rampant through the power structures in the religious and Republican party.
And I would say here in the West as well, what many people don't know, in Italy, in Spain,
probably.
I'm sure probably all of Iberia as well, if you're a part of the Catholic regime, you don't have to pay taxes for your property and whatnot.
Oh, that's a mistake.
But if you're fundamentalist, or you don't pay taxes. If you're fundamentalist, if you're evangelical, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, you have to pay taxes here in Spain. Now, the Catholics don't, but what's all that about? No, we get a lot of... No, my parents made a shitload of money from being tax exempt because they had properties, they had businesses that were based to the church, that we had a Judeo-Christian ministry. My mother was on television and radio. I mean, it was a whole thing, which was a big thing in the Word of Faith and Prosperity movement. There is a faith that comes out of this more even, I would say, than the Jews, with the Christian evangelicals, that if you're not making money, you are not right with the higher power. And that's kind of when you're also coming from the world's largest economy and you are chosen, it breeds all of this insane narcissism that is now being permitted to be thrown into the mainstream media, because I can't stand that they try to say that NBC and all these people are mainstream media when the highest amount of watchers and viewers every day of any news network is Fox.
Fox News, yeah, by far. They blow them out of the water every time.
Some
CBS network shows.
Rachel Maddow still is one of the top rated.
But I mean, broadcast.
Thank God she's doing God's work. Rachel, we love you.
I mean, we can just take that break. She is amazing. Every single day, 5 days a week, she's doing a breakdown of something horrible that the Trump administration is doing, and she's got them to stop it. We'll get into that more, but I mean, broadcast network news kind of has pretty big audiences. Meet the Press, CBS, those have fairly big audiences. But no, the number one by far news source in the United States of America is Fox News.
And so what that then details, my brother, is that we are fighting a very hard battle. Because when nearly a third of all watchers only watch news from there or Newsmax or something, and the other 10 divisions to get your television or live stream media is split up for the other 70, that means everyone gets a 7%, and I'm being very fair.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't even watch any news. It's also that was the voting divide in this past election, November 2024, was people that read a newspaper and understood what January 6th was he can't let this guy be president again. And then people that said, well, my favorite influencer tells me everything I need to know, they voted for him 80% to 20%. It's a real problem.
And as Governor Walz was doing his thing this week, and by the way, I don't know if you saw,
we're
going to get to it, but he said, it was not 80, it was not 81, it was nearly 90 million people that did not go out and vote. Kamala got nearly 46. He got nearly 48 million people. There was it was 46 and 47.
It was 1.7% difference in popular vote between Trump and Kamala, but that doesn't include the people that voted their party.
90 million. There were more people that did not go vote than did.
It happens every time. So that's a huge problem that I think we can sort of help, is that when you don't show up to vote, then you get your Department of Education, your Social Security cut by radical lunatics.
Our girl Annie Grohl shout out at Democrats Abroad here in Barcelona chapter here in Spain. She said of the nearly 15 million of us expats that live out, not even 10% voted.
Yeah.
Not even 10% of the 50. Imagine if all of us had voted. Done.
Change the game. It's a game changer. I mean, there's a lot of us that are probably, you don't really know the breakdown statistics of states, but you get enough to make a difference. In 2020, we did make the difference. Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, but mostly Arizona and Wisconsin.
2/3 of the voting populace went to vote. 2/3 of the voting populace in 2020 went to vote, nearly 67%.
Right. It was
this
a lot
time
more.
it was just over
ever.
50%. It was the highest turnout in history, in modern history. And this time it was
history
one
for
of
the
the
States.
lowest in modern history.
And so was 2016. And guess who won those? When you don't show up, maniac grifters take over government and run government via 4chan right-wing conspiracy theory.
And this goes all over
cut
the
that shit
place.
out.
We are expat podcasters. Specifically, we focus on North America and United States. I should be more specific.
United
but
States, yeah.
we do feel for the rest of us, because we do live in a monarchical but constitutional social democracy here in Spain, which is, again, still here in Iberia, the strongest growth economy in the world. And we're kicking some of an ass, and we're one of the only left-wing administrations running shit in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, that whole
Power to Pedro Sanchez. He's also the best-looking male leader in the world.
I think that's why it breaks down to for you.
I'm going to quote Samantha Jones of Sex and the City fame. She said, the government runs better when there's a good-looking man or a person in the office. I mean, look at Nixon. He fucked everybody.
Right. Trump's not
And now Trump's doing it. So FAFO, mother effers. One thing I want to say, despite my barrage of stuff before we get into the resistance, marking things up a bit and how to fix that,
That's the main point.
is Eche. And Liam, in just a moment, there is a clip from YouTube with that little thing. Okay, porfa. But thank you, my brother. But the need for grounding yourself, and that can be actually literally, you can actually go to a park, take your shoes off, and put your feet in the soil, hopefully not in too much park poo or piss, but, to get in touch with yourself, like Swing Out Sister was saying about 30 years ago, get in touch with yourself, get out to nature. I really want to recommend deep biofeedback breathing, taking pulses of, turning this off for a while,
Go on a hike.
Yes, Lord. Get your baby on a lead and go, or a leash, as we say, and go on a hike.
Coast Roll is right there.
And also, please start maybe loving yourselves a little bit more, not in a narcissistic way, because I'm going to say that way, but in a way that you can get free, loving affirmations and meditations on YouTube, on podcast. It sounds ooey gooey and hippy bippy, but we need this at the moment, because all of this shite that's happening, it's not just happening from inertia. This is almost a karma dharma thing, I would say, that's been leading up to this. And I think we have to blame all of the gay, Latino, black, lesbian, Asian, trans people that have been running the world for 3,000 years. That's what I think we need
That's
to
what
blame.
history says. Those groups have ran the world completely for the longest period of time. They're not ostracized or marginalized in any way, shape, or form, according to Republicans.
It's also time to start forgiving yourselves, because there is a lot of white guilt that is there, and it's time to start owning it, forgiving it, and moving past it, with a lot of acceptance of where much is received, much is required.
Well, an onslaught of horrible, scary, terrible news on an every single day basis is poisonous to your mental health.
And I also, exactly. And men, we got to man up, because this whole, Jesse Waters, you need to come out the motherfucking closet, because I can smell the gay on you, bitch. We all know it.
Knock off Tucker Carlson.
We all know it. And Tucker, please. I mean, that brother gets fisted, allegedly.
Allegedly. Maybe.
Although you keep outing yourself, Jesse. Nobody talks about men sucking straws except you.
Right, oral
you
fixation
weirdo.
much? Oral fixation much?
The hell?
Yeah.
Anyway, and this is why the resistance needs to not muck shit up.
Right. We are dealing with the worst possible fucking fascist takeover of America.
Can I ask you something?
Fascist takeover of America. The rapist and the racist fascist takeover of America.
I really want to know your thoughts,
Please.
because there's been a big divide in the Democratic Party, and I think we all need to be lining up together. But
unity! We need unity.
The fact that, and that's why I said the thing about the division earlier, the fact that 9 people voted in the Senate of the Democratic side, was it 9?
It was 10 exactly,
actually.
out of 47. 200 and, what are we up to, 210, 212 in the House, all voted the way that the internet wanted. We'll discuss why I think that was an obvious trap.
Well, what do you think about that?
Oh, so, okay. I think that it's coalition problems. I think people see the Republican Party as a unified messaging cult doing everything in lockstep with their cult leader. That is not what a coalition is. You cannot now nor ever get every single member of a diverse political coalition to do and say everything you want to do. But if you have 70, 80% an ally, they are not 20, 30% your enemy. We have to stop this self-attacks. It's been 62, 61 days, give or take, of Trump, and I've heard a different excuse to shit on the Democratic Party every single day.
Okay.
This has to stop. The shutdown situation that got blown out of proportion was insane. There was no way it was a good idea to shut down the U.S. government right now, because Donald Trump and Elon then get new powers to decide what is shut down and what isn't.
Exactly.
They can also,
true.
Donald Trump will say, oh, the markets aren't tanking because of my tariffs, they're tanking because of the shutdown. Oh, you didn't get your Social Security check, not because of my slash and burn negligence fest, you didn't get it because of the government shutdown. Okay. The pathological liar would have kept lying, and you know the DC media, you know this media environment, they'd be like, well, Trump says... The Democrats say, and Trump says, so if we had a government shutdown right now, tens of millions of people that rely on government programs would have been screwed over.
They would have also given them the permission to go in and continue to gut.
Right.
What they're already going to gut.
Under the cover of darkness. Yeah. And then here's another thing. If you think this CR is bad, and it was a terrible CR.
And even Chuck Schumer came on The View and said that this a few days ago.
Did a lot of right-wing parties. The issue is, imagine a world, because we have to think. We have to outthink the fascists. We have to outthink. If we do this, they do this, then what? If the government was shut down and the Democratic Party took a stand and let it happen, number one, how horrible would the bills to reopen the government be? They'd be 1,000 times worse because Republicans have all the leverage. Republican Party in America. Yeah, it would have been like the send trans people to Gitmo Act to reopen the government.
Well, and just let's make a report on that, because all of the there were a group of people who were sent to Guantanamo Bay.
I mean, yeah,
they've all been sent back.
Another horrible
However,
situation.
this has not happened with the El Salvadorian situation.
Yeah,
which is thing.
They had to reverse the fiscal conservatives thought retrofitting Guantanamo Bay would be the best way to hold undocumented immigrants. But here's the thing. They're getting it wrong constantly. So that means people who are not undocumented immigrants are being denied their due process rights in the first place, which everyone has. When you step foot on U.S. soil, you are entitled to due process rights.
Because we're a republic democracy.
You have to have due process. The president can't ever just say, nah, you're out of here, you're black.
But the thing is, he's doing it.
Right.
The thing is, he's doing it, and they're permitting it because this Department of Defense, this Department of Justice, this Department of the FBI, well, the Department of the FBI, it's all, I mean, Homeland Security is controlled by evil mother effers.
Dude, every single one of Trump's cabinet picks has been garbage. Every single one of them. Look at Pam Bondi threatening judges who rule against them. How does the Attorney General do that? But let me just reverse back for a second, because I just want us to figure out, as a resistance, the best possible ways to resist. We are landing blows. The lawsuits are working. Judges are ruling against Trump. For the first time in Trumpism, he's hemorrhaging support from his own base. These things are working. The legal system takes time to play out, but you have to pick and choose your battles. The person who knows when to fight and when not to fight is the person who wins. Art of War, Sun Tzu. We have to think more Art of War. This is our book recommendation for this week, The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
No, we're going to get to that, though, in a little bit.
We can talk about who cares about it? Who cares about the schedule?
Fuck the schedule!
You worked really hard on that, and I've just blown through it. No, I just want the resistance to stop falling for what feels good in the moment. I know how desperate it was to land a punch and say, we have leverage, we can shut down but like, the Republican Party shuts down the government because they don't care about the millions of people that it hurts.
And this is not the first time that they almost did it. They did it twice under Trump 1.
And they tried to do it under Biden, though he outfoxed them the whole time because Sleepy Joe was actually a really good president and smart.
And Nancy Pelosi knew how to keep shit in order.
Right.
I want to make another thing out there. In the last 2 years of her ruling, I don't know how to say that, her mandate, when she was leading the House in the United States of America, they passed over 300 bills.
Some of the most historic legislation ever passed from the year 2021 to 2023. Ever. And
under McCarthy and Magic Moses Mike Johnson.
Magic Mike. I like Magic Mike. MAGA Magic Mike. They passed the least amount of bills. They're the least productive Congress in history.
90% less.
And a bunch of Fox News messaging bills. So this is the reason why we're getting into this, is because resistance. It is fine to hold each other accountable. It is fine to criticize each other. It is fine to criticize people in power.
And call shit out.
But they have to be coming from a place of fact, while we're fighting an administration that lives in myths and propaganda and lies.
And that's a great segue to what I need to say.
Please.
Right motherfucking now.
We're amped up.
I'm going to tell you, because I have a little clip that we're going to play that throw out from Lady Maddow. Now, this leads up into a week where yesterday, or 2 nights before, but it happened yesterday, Elon Musk, the real president of the United States of America, or at least the co-president, was going to be briefed in the Pentagon with Pete Hegskamchupamev, drunk alcoholic.
The literal alcoholic who drinks during press conferences. Who's
was he not drinking during that press conference?
Oh, I've seen a highball before. He looked like he was having a cocktail while he was drinking during the press conference.
Was that supposed to be water?
It didn't look like it. It was really dirty water.
Okay, so an alcoholic
water
was going to be briefing Elon Musk about possible situations in reference to geopolitical actions with China.
The actual U.S. hypothetical battle plan if war between the United States and China were to ever break out. This is hypothetical. Every single government does this. They make these plans on how to attack. And Trump was going to let the man who built all of his Teslas in China, who has billions of dollars...
51% of his Teslas are built in China.
He's on the hook for billions to China. He even wrote an op-ed or something in support of their censorship regime. Nobody is... If Trump is a puppet of Vladimir Putin, which he is, we both agree that he without a doubt is... Elon Musk is definitely a puppet of the CCP.
Let's not forget, everybody, before we play the clip in just a second.
Yeah, let's get it. I'm mad.
Elon Musk, just not even 6, 7, 8 years ago, was not on the top 10 list of the wealthy people. It is during the Trump administration with Putin, with China, where he got Department of Defense and military contracts with everybody to send all those bloody things up into the sky. And that is where he started to amass that wealth, where people started to invest more into his SpaceX, into Tesla. And this is how that happened. It is not just from shits and giggles that he's got it.
You want to hear something nice, actually, though? Because resistance works, because we are fighting, because we have wins, Tesla stock is cut by 42% from Inauguration Day. 42%!
And sales in some states in Europe are down by over 75%.
Let's go Europeans, by the way. Let's go Europeans. First of all, we need your satellites, please. And thank you for protesting and cutting your contracts with this horrible, horrible company and this horrible, horrible man.
And listen, also, we're gonna let's make mention of the other thing at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be, if you're here in Catalonia, Barcelona, there's going to be another protest strike.
Yes, next Saturday at Plaza San Jaume. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Plaza San Jaume.
Before we get to that, though, I want to ask. Let's play this clip because I want people to see what was being reported. Because when you are giving away state secrets to a ketamine untreated drug addict,
unvetted,
as well.
What security clearance did he
pass?
Nothing.
He has nothing.
Right.
This is what can
Trump
happen.
Stamp.
So I want to thank again, shout out. We make no money and nothing off of this. This is from Rachel Maddow last night. Let's take a look at this really quickly. Thank you, sir.
This is what the Times said, quote, "It was unclear what the impetus was for providing Mr. Musk such a sensitive briefing. He is not in the military chain of command, nor is he an official advisor to Trump on military matters involving China. Pentagon war plans, known in military jargon as O plans or operational plans, are among the military's most closely guarded secrets." And here's where they switch to crayon. If a foreign country was to learn how the U.S. planned to fight a war against them, that country could reinforce its defenses and address its weaknesses, making U.S. war plans far less likely to succeed against that foreign adversary. If you have a war plan with a foreign country, don't show that plan to the foreign country just in case you ever have to go to war with them, because it'll mean your war plan won't work.
Sun Tzu would agree.
Get it? Do you guys get it? You want me to say it more slowly? I mean, the Times might as well have put it in all caps on a single page with a picture menu, right?
She's so good.
Elon Musk is arguably more thoroughly and uncritically in bed with the Chinese government than any other business person who calls him or herself an American.
Anyway.
But as of last night, according to the New York Times, Donald Trump was planning on giving him America's most detailed military plans on how exactly we would wage war against China if we ever had to, despite his deep involvement with the Chinese government.
All right.
The National Security Negligence Administration.
Thank you, brother. Yes.
My man.
That is the thing. And so they are in bed together. This goes beyond a conflict of interest because we're dealing with, unfortunately, it is a truth, the world's strongest superpower.
I mean, militarily, of course. That was always when you spend $1 trillion a year on military spending, you're going to be the most powerful military. Obviously.
And yet, have they got to cutting those defense? Remember, nearly 17% of the defense. So, well, it depends. I mean, the statistics say 14, some say 17.
Billion, roughly,
but between 14 and 17% of the entire defense of the United States budget goes to the defense thing. The whole thing that really is interesting that we're not going to play too much of that, obviously, is that there was an immediate quick reversal. Yesterday.
Yeah, Trump literally said to the press, I read about that in the New York Times.
He literally said literally.
It literally happened.
Literally. And it did.
You heard the audio. I heard the audio of Trump saying, I heard about this in the New York Times. What's happening in the White House?
So thank you, New York Times, and journalistic investigation and reporting. Yes, because sometimes you do mess it up, but a lot of times you haven't for over 200 years. So shout out. Do you really think Trump really stopped the whole affair just by finding out via a freaking newspaper, though?
Well, he's a pathological liar. But he also doesn't know how anything works. So it's always this guess of
it's computer. You should have seen it. I mean, we didn't talk about this in the last episode, but he recorded a commercial on the White House lawn.
Tesla?
For Tesla. And Tessler. Tesla.
Rate starting as low as 300. I'm the president. Buy a Tesla. Fuck out of here.
And gets in there. It's mortifying.
What is this relationship? What is this relationship between these two men? I think we need to get into this. We need to get in this over a long period of time. It's not a today.
Yes, I think we should also deal with a lot of the homosexuality that's hidden and covert in the Republican Party.
Right-wing politics is running rampant with
glory hole. This obsession with and J.D. Vance with his eye makeup.
Yeah, can we stop that?
This whole and now Magic Mike Johnson, Moses Johnson is wearing all of this stuff, all these titty babies, man. Well, he wears lots of makeup now. Sometimes I do because I'm bald.
He's using bronzer now to look more like his
but master. He's not bronzer. I'm going to quote a lot of Simpsons things, but the politics of failure have failed. This is a Kane and Kodos thing. The politics of failure have failed, and I think we need to explain that to the people because I deal with a lot with my university and business sessions here of how the fuck could you guys align with the axis of evil.
It's a global economy. So nothing that happens in the United States sticks in the United States really. Not military, not diplomacy, not economically, not public health. If measles is running rampant in the United States, guess where that's coming next? Mm-hmm. So it's really ridiculous that Trump and Elon, puppet President Trump and and pretend President Elon are just running this chaotic negligence fest in every single level. I don't really understand why you think you can be, you think you got a mandate to give the United States' battle plans to Elon Musk and let him gut the Department of Education and Social Security.
Well, it goes back to what you said, brother, that he doesn't know. He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't know how anything works. The man does not know how anything works.
And because of that, this week, well, not even this week, in the last 2 days, Germany, Britain, Denmark, and other European countries are releasing travel advisory warnings to their citizens to stop them from traveling to the United States.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, look at your phone. Did you criticize Trump? Get out of here.
Specifically, Britain and Denmark were telling their trans and LGBT community to please watch that. Hey,
of course,
to watch that. Because of that. Now, on top of that happening, there was also the dismantling of the Board of Education this week, or the commencement of it.
The executive order that absolutely demolishes the Department of Education isn't actually legal. So yet another court case that the Trump administration is going to get its teeth kicked in, because that's not how it works. Congress has the power of the purse.
Oh, yeah.
No president gets to just show up and say, imagine Biden just went no, I don't like ICE. We're just gonna cut 80% of the ICE workforce, and that's it. And we're gonna abolish it without without an act of Congress. You need an act of Congress. It's in the Constitution. The people that are the constitutional conservatives.
But when Congress has thrown that ass up in the air and said, "More, please, sir,"
they love to cover. Because the thing is, like, what you're going to see if we don't flip these seats in April 1st, two seats in Florida, District 1, District 6, and in November, the upstate New York seat, we can get 3 seats there, everybody. If if Republicans have control of Congress, they will legalize all this crap that Trump is doing. They will legalize it all. They'll pass new laws for him. When he gets his ass kicked in the courts, they're just going to come make a new law for him. They're going to make yes, you can actually gut 80% of the federal workforce law if we let Republicans keep these seats.
Hopefully,
April 1st,
man,
everybody. April 1st.
This is going to start scaring people. We're seeing this happening with the rallies.
The protests are huge. The protests are everywhere in the United States.
The rallies.
Trust us, Europeans and Catalans and Spaniards, trust us. We are fighting. We are fighting loudly. We are fighting proudly. We will keep fighting.
We're here. We're queer. We're loud and proud. No, he's
and
not.
All that.
Well, he's a little weird, but he's not. He's not queer.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't appreciate that.
But but I want to say something else about the cutting of the Board of Education, because for those of us who are expats or those listeners who live in other countries who obviously are affected by the United States of America, KKKA. Gutting the Board of Education just doesn't affect the 70% of people who go to school in the public school system over there in the United States of America. It also is the people that deal with student loans for universities, for secondary, education and things of that nature.
Civil rights investigations. So, like, when they were when we were during the times of like segregation and new Republican mutated segregation attempts, you can't like ban a transgender kid from taking science. The Department of Education handles that. If you have a child with special needs or with a learning disorder, the Department of Education helps put that together. What the Department of Education does not do is curriculum.
Exactly.
Republican lie.
Exactly.
They don't do that.
Thank you for saying that. I haven't even thinking about that. Thank you for saying that. One of the other things that they also have to do is take care that a lot of like Pell Grants and things of that nature when you're getting student loans is taken care of. So what Trump said yesterday, or the administration said yesterday, was that the Small Business Administration is now going to be leading the student loans federally.
Which wasn't in the executive order, by the way.
Well, but also, they've never done the Small Business Administration deals with small business loans and things of that nature and helping people build their small business.
It's because the most idiotic thing anyone's ever said is government should run like a business. It's the dumbest thing anyone has ever said in their entire lives, and smart people say it all the time, and they're idiots for it.
But wait, there's more. The Small Business Administration is going to be taking over the scores and scores of millions, if not billions, of loans for students.
Well, yeah, there's a lot
they
of
are
loans and
gutting 40% of the staffers of the Small Business Administration. So now, as we go into tax season in the next month, so these things are already starting to compile, and people are feeling it. In New York City, you are truly paying, depending what you're looking for, between 10 and 15 plus for a dozen of eggs. It just keeps going up.
The U.S. stock market is
down every week as we close.
Every time the man utters his stupid fat mouth, the market loses 1%. He's not like...
Do you love that? Or do you love that?
Funny story how the constitutional crisis president isn't actually good at running an economy. Had the guy who went bankrupt 7-8 times?
Well, couldn't 6 times with his businesses.
Couldn't even make a casino work. If you and I started a casino, if you and I took over the casino down on the boardwalk, we'd be making a fortune. Donald Trump is the only person I've ever seen to lose money working a casino.
Can I make a historical thing about that?
Please.
His wife, Lady Ivana, may she rest in peace, in a New Jersey fucking golf course.
Full of classified documents.
Please, child.
Kidding.
I'm not.
Probably not.
She was helping run the Taj Mahal, all those it was Taj Mahal, right?
Taj Mahal, yeah. I used to play poker there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Before he was the worst human alive.
She was running this, and when they divorced in the early 90s and she left, within 1 to 2 years, each one closed. Right. Was, again, behind every man. I want to say that at least the failings in the courts are happening. The firings are being reversed. People are going back to work. Tens of thousands of them, at least 40,000 have gone back to work. Transgender military bans have been reversed as of yesterday. One thing that was not was the drama with the Venezuelan and El Salvadorian prison shite.
This is insane, because another thing that Donald Trump tells the press, I had no idea that I used the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime power, to send a bunch of people from Venezuela who are not gang members. Government officials in Venezuela have gone on the record to say these are not Venezuelan gang members. They even tried to send women in these horrible...
One of them who was an attorney.
They tried, and then even El Salvador said, nah, women, get out of here, to take it back. This is the most horrifying crap I've ever seen. The Donald Trump... The Trump administration, the puppet Trump administration, is just snatching people off the streets. The protester kid who did the Colombia things. I mean, I have my disagreements with that whole thing, but I mean, you can't just snatch up protesters. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's with no due process again.
Have they brought? I mean, what is happening?
Hearings are happening in that site, but hearings are happening on the Alien Enemies Act case as well for the deported Venezuelans to El Salvador maximum security prison. All these are taking place in courts in hearings that take time.
I also want to say that El Salvador is run as a dictatorship and a regime. It is an autocratic regime.
That massive penal colony slavery prison where you just disappear.
Why did it look like a hip hop video?
With the U.S. tax dollars, they try to make it look like Abu Ghraib, and they pay because Donald Trump likes that.
Horrifying. And the thing is, I keep seeing my people, man.
Yeah.
It's Latinos. I'm Latino, and this stuff really f's with me because I mean, on my mom's side, we are 150. Since Texas became part of the Union, we are U.S. citizens. But my dad's side is, he came to the States. Now, his mother was born in the States, so it was it's kind of easy for him. Thanks, Grandma. But, I'm Latino.
And you see this obvious racism against Latinos from the Republican
Party. And we see it
everywhere.
here in Spain. Catalunya, ya sabemos. Okay, we know what's up. We know how you feel
Doing
about
an impotent, ridiculous English is the official language of the United States executive order is a F you to Latinos.
Exactly,
and
especially in anybody who does exactly because this is a country whose freedom of speech is the main one of its main precepts. So we can have recognized languages, which for 200 years almost have been English and Spanish, but now they're trying to make this officiated thing, and power to the people. I love my language. I mean, if I didn't speak this language of English, I wouldn't have the job and stuff and money that I make.
I mean, yeah, listen, I was born and raised in it. I had no choice.
But. And you're Irish, love? Although, do you speak Gaelic?
No, I don't. I don't have much of information background on that. But I am learning Spanish now and a little bit of Catalan.
Yeah, porque es muy importante, es que on some.
But I mean, I think what's very important for us to hammer home today
Please.
Is that every single person that screamed and complained about what Donald Trump would do in power was right. We're seeing videos on social media about Kamala, like going line by line by line of her saying what would happen under Trump administration and it being proven correct. We have to unite. We have to fight this. We can't fight each other while we're fighting a fascist regime. They are a fascist
You can argue, but not fight.
You can argue. Listen, you can call each other out, but then it can't be 6-7 days of trashing each other. We can be like, hey, I didn't like this vote that 6 members of the Senate did. Okay, great. It can't be day 11 of us talking about this while people are getting sent to Supermax El Salvadorian prison, while programs that people need to live are getting gutted. We have to unite. La resistance. Like we have to unite. We have more people than them. We can win this. We can steal power back with these boycotts. We're crippling Tesla. Let's go all the way, everyone. Let's unite around bankrupting Tesla.
And stopping Amazon a little bit, please.
Well, yeah, we'll get to him next. Don't worry, we'll come for his ass too.
Honestly, I abhor that man.
Let's bankrupt the guy who's actually in the White House right now doing all the horrible shit. I call it triage. We have to triage the worst problems. Elon Musk is absolutely near the top. Jeff Bezos is in there. Terrible guy. Although, honestly, I'm trapped in the Amazon trap myself. Plenty of examples we all are. But
my sister sent that 3:00 message as well, saying, I think you need to know that Apple is now working with Starlink for a lot of its services, so you may not want to buy. Now, I have 2 old iPhones. An iPhone 7 and an 8.
You know who's failing more than anybody is these mega corporations that are bending for Trump because they can't see 4 years down the line. They can only see 2 quarters down the line. So they're bending for Trump in ridiculous ways that are just utterly humiliating and destructive.
Well, and because he is,
He'll abuse his power to come after you.
Well, but he's, as you said, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't care about what he's doing. He's really, both of them were trying to stay out of jail. They were starting to stay out of prison. If they hadn't won, Elon Musk was reported everywhere saying, if she wins, I'm going to prison for a very long time.
He was with Tucker Carlson in the interview. They started laughing about it. He's like, I'm effed if he doesn't win. That's why he put hundreds of millions of dollars in getting him elected.
270 is what they're saying.
Absolutely insane.
So this
So
week.
unite. Let's bankrupt Tesla. Let's move on to the next one. Let's file more lawsuits. Let's file more Freedom of Information Act requests. Let's have more protests like this coming Saturday at Plaza San Jaume.
Excuse me for saying that. Keep plying your representatives and your senators in their
Every
offices.
day. Call them.
And email them. You make it happen. You can just set these things up on rotation. It will actually just do it for you. You can set this stuff up.
Harass
and you can
your
have,
elected reps,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Siri set it up for you. Well, I'm not going to say that, but I just did. So whatever, because as he called his bluff, Putin was calling his bluff with this shite.
Worst negotiator in history, by the way. He was going to have the war solved in 24 hours.
And what did he do? The minute they hung up on a supposed 2-hour phone call, he bombed the
shit
crap
out of Ukraine again.
Out of Ukraine. The bombings are continuing in Odessa. So my heart goes out to the people of Odessa right now. And specifically, I want to make a match out of one of my favorite Ukrainian musicians, Anna Nadzian. She is a Madrid. She was based here in Barcelona. She moved for record purposes to Madrid. Anna Nadzian, that is spelled Nzadion, Ndazion. Her music is, if you love Bjork, you will love this girl. And she's actually, you can follow her on all where social media is found as well. But I want you guys to also follow us where all social media is as well, because you can join us. And as we build this very small but burgeoning independent media ecosystem out for the expat and immigrants from the United States of America, you can follow us at The Way Works Now podcast at
YouTube,
and Instagram and at YouTube.
And Blue Sky.
And at Blue Sky, but we really need to mount that and make it happen. But we're going to be doing that as we launch this little baby here out of the RCE studios here, safe and sound in Barcelona.
A little afraid, though, because we're going to say things like Putin is a genocidal dictator who is massacring babies.
Protection that we have from broadcasting in Europe.
We might get thrown out of that window over there, or our Boca will get poisoned.
Because these...
It's not entirely impossible.
I'm hyperventilating.
But fuck you, Putin. You're a genocidal dictator.
Amen. And the horse you rode in on.
And the horse you rode in on. Fuck you.
But also, to bring it back to what you were mentioning, The Art of War, and why you wanted to choose this book on this one.
The Art of War, everyone, go back and read The Art of War. It's older than Christ. Back when Mary was having a virgin birth. Before that, Sun Tzu was putting together his thoughts and strategies of fighting wars. Every single bit of it isn't directly relevant to the situation now, but there are many, many gems about understanding the battlefield that we're on, understanding your enemy, understanding yourself, picking the right times, being deceptive in the battles that we're in. Because make no mistake about it, we are at war. We are fighting an information and judicial war before this asshole takes over to try to be a dictator, because I believe Donald Trump wants to throw out any rule, any constitution, any laws, and continue to stay as the president for the rest of his life. I believe that's 100% true. I believe that's what he wants, and you have to believe him when he says it. Read The Art of War. This will inform you greatly on how to actually approach these situations. They apply to protests. They apply to lawsuits. They apply to messaging. Hello, Democrats. They apply to messaging. It's such a beautiful, incredible book. I've read it. Now I'm rereading it.
Honestly, man, I did not realize that he lived hundreds of years before Christ.
Before the virgin birth, yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
I like busting your balls.
I honestly thought it was always thing.
It's one of the most influential books ever. You can read Machiavelli as well, but we'll get on that on another episode. Because The Prince is a really good read.
But it is.
But it's more political gamesmanship than actual.
Honestly, and there's a lot of with Machiavellian policies and things that happen, it borders into narcissistic personality territory.
Sure. And, that's why I didn't recommend The Prince, and I'm recommending The Art of War.
Power to the People,
Go get it. Read it
And
now.
also, don't be surprised to inform yourselves a little bit about Chinese culture. They don't teach us any of that in the West. They don't teach us anything of but in Europe either. You don't get any Asian history here. And there's a reason why there's thousands of years of it and only hundreds of us. Even here in Europe, we've hundreds.
There's a lot to learn. It's a great big world. A lot of history, a lot of culture, a lot of information. People can talk about, we can learn a lot about South Korea, how they prevented the coup that was attempted to be put in. They shut that shit down in days.
So shut yourself off away when you need to from the rest of the world. Make sure that you get a little bit of self-care time. Take more baths, not just showers. If you have a bath, take a bath when you can. Get out to nature a little bit. Get some meditation in you, some affirmations. And remember, we shall overcome. Because everybody knows what's going on, but we have to work together and make this ish happen because that's the way works now with me and
me, Bobby from the Bronx.
All right, we're gonna shout out with one of my beautiful sisters who I just had the most wonderful dinner. Shout out. This is Tori Sparks, and she's doing her rendition. I love to close it out every time.
Living legend
of Leonard Cohen's "Everybody Knows." Power to the people, everybody. We will see you in the Al Gore's Interweeb streams in just a little while. And thank you so much for checking us out.
Stick around.
And follow us at The Way Shit Works Now at YouTube and Instagram. Bye.
Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows that the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. That's how it goes. And everybody knows